The way I see it, New Zealanders pride themselves on being resilient. But we all know that's not always the case, and anyone can go through tough times. In many ways, though, it's the struggles we go through that actually shape us as people. I'm Scotty Stevenson, and I'm about to meet some incredible Kiwis to have some meaningful, revealing, inspiring, and hopefully helpful conversations about their own day-to-day challenges and what it's like to come through the other side of mentally tough times and get back on the up.
Well. Hey?
Jason Gunn. Oh, mate.
Welcome to The Upside, brought to you by AIA Vitality.
Jace,
Yeah.
7 years has gone past since you probably should have died. So
That.
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
2017, my goodness, mate.
Yeah.
You're at the gym,
Yeah.
start feeling a bit weird.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Yeah. Well, I just think it's me feeling a bit weird, right? And I think good on me for trying to do something with the body. And then it's just like multiple pains and things going on. And I'm like, what is going on here? Thankfully, I have a low pain threshold, which potentially saved my life. So I sort of go out and say to the gym person, I think I'm in trouble. He says, you've overdone it.
Right.
I now know I'm showing 9 of the 10 signs of a major heart attack, which is like, okay, but he gets me a protein shake because he thinks that's what'll fix it.
Yeah.
I throw up the protein shake. And so now I'm showing 10 of the 10 signs of a major heart attack. And then, the rest is just a trip to hospital and, your life is just laid out in front of you, basically. And I think the scariest thing for me was you like to think to yourself, just quietly, you're a good bugger and, you're kind. And then, so that'll set me up for a long innings. And all of a sudden, they've gone upstairs. They'd like to take a look at that.
Just going to review this
Just
decision.
going to review that. And you realise maybe my life is not entirely in my hands at all. And so in that moment, you just go, I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 weddings I want to deliver emotional speeches at. And what if that's not going to happen? Yeah, but I think for me, it has been the greatest life lesson in terms of realising what was important. My son Louis was the guru who said to me at the time, I was working in radio, and he said to me, Dad, that's not what success looks like. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, when you come home, you're kind of angry, you're a little upset, you're quite stressed. And I was just like, wow, okay, when the child becomes the parent.
Yeah.
And so I decided to get out of that, to be honest. And I always say to people, because of that, I got to be at every one of his rugby games. And often he would come up to me before the game and give me a hug, and he'd whisper in my ear, Dad, this is what success looks like. And I was like, whew, okay. There it is, everybody.
Wow. And so much of your life has been being Jason Gunn.
Yeah.
Which is but a public version of Jason Gunn.
Of course.
And you must also have a private version of Jason Gunn that you don't let people see. You're so giving with your time and you're so authentic. You've got a childlike wonder about you, and I think you have a childlike view of the world.
I think so.
You love the world and what it gives you back, but it also takes from you. So when you had that episode in 2017, did you think to yourself, okay, I might now have to be a bit more protective about me and how much I can give?
Yeah, it's a great question, my man. And I think so. I realised I needed to possibly control my energy as opposed to just turn on the tap and let it go. Because I looked at an event like that as many things coming together to create that. And it was just about, well, hang on a minute. You can't just think it's going to be okay. What am I actually putting in place to make sure it is okay? Everything from the health, the exercise, the food, the stress levels, which I'm very good with stress, as in I welcome stress into my world.
You live with it.
I throw a party for stress, come on, and you're always welcome in my house. And I'm not good at dealing with that. And so on the outside, you're like, Jace, but, things used to really wind me up. And people would wind me up. People who aren't kind, like mean people, like that, it would really get to me. This sounds very heavy. But sometimes I don't feel other people's pain, but I'm able to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And I like to do that. And when you were a children's TV presenter, that was a superpower, because it was just, you were able to go, okay, wait a minute, how are you doing? You know, and just really think about what it was like to be that one child watching at home.
Yeah.
And, you know, our dear old mate, Al Henderson, who was Thingy, who taught me so much about life, we had this thing that we would look down that camera and go, who are we talking to? We're never talking to everyone. And we'd always go, we're talking to that, gosh, I can hear his voice in my head and I get emotional. We would talk to that one kid who came home from school and just was like, and no one has told them on that day that they're just the best thing. Like, dude, just seriously. And if it's been a bad day, don't worry. It doesn't matter. Maybe there's not a mum or a dad in the life, but you've got Jace, you've got Thingy. We will always be here for you. And we will always tell you, you have got what it takes. And Al just taught me that. And I love that connection that you could have. And people still come up to me today, occasionally, and they'll say stuff like, you know, Jace, I went through some shit as a kid, but, you know, I just want to say thanks for being there. And I go, wow, that's everything Al said we should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He was a champion man.
He honestly was,
great camera operator. He was a director, a producer, and he was a special human being.
Very.
This has turned into two grown men crying. You do realise that. I got very emotional thinking about that because, and I'm okay with that because I think that's part and parcel of feeling for other people. But I also think about something Gilbert Enoka, who had a long history with the All Blacks, said to you, which was, it's only when we get a second chance we're reminded we only have one life.
I just love that. I mean, how powerful is that, right? I remember sitting, having a coffee with this man, and I'd done a presentation the night before and told my story of this. And he said the next day, hey, don't belittle that story, mate. It's like, you know, like it's a major heart attack. Like you faced your own mortality. It's pretty bloody scary. And don't just park that and move on.
Dig a little deeper.
Dig a little deeper. And he said, and just remember that stuff. I've been given a gift now that I don't take anything for granted. Like all my children, all the moments, the people I meet, I just am double down in gratitude now since that moment. It's like, yeah.
This is a positive chat. And I want to talk about something that hasn't been positive in your life, which is, of course, your mum, Janice, who passed away around a year ago now.
Yeah, just coming on a year,
And you were very close to your mum, which is special, and she was really supportive of you, and I'm sure hugely, hugely proud, and you felt that every day. You're still wearing a badge on that suit.
Yeah. Well, I remember this suit, in fact, I thought, no, it's for Mum's funeral, so I thought, I'm going to go and get a new suit. So I went and got the suit. Then it comes with this little rose. I went, oh my goodness, Rose is Mum's middle name.
Right.
So it's never come off. And that has, it's been a year and I'm still not right with it. Like, because you're talking about a mum who, like even coming back here was like really emotional. Because it's like, I remember I was like 19 or 20 and I got like a big job in Auckland television. And I remember being away from mum and dad was just, that was real tough, you know, but she'd write me letters and say, how are you going? And I remember I took them for lunch at, there used to be this big flash cafeteria in this building, and we went there. And I can remember it was my 21st birthday coming up, and they said, we're going to get you a video camera. And I said, oh, that's far too much. Don't be silly. And my mum turned to me and said, we're just so proud of you. I was like, oh.
You've been really open about the grief and about this process and about the scale and the magnitude of loss. And you've posted about it, you've put clips together, you've had discussions with people.
Yeah.
That takes bravery and that takes, I think it's probably therapy for you in some ways.
Very much, yeah.
But what has the response been? What have people come back to you with? So what have you, Jason Gunn, got out of sharing your grief?
That's great. Two things. I think number one is people were there for me at the start just for that reassurance. Mum would always say, remember when Dad passed, she said, time, darling, it's just time. We're going to be fine. It's just time. So with Mum's absence, I'm like, no, I don't know sure if that's actually true, Mum. But people were there to share their love and support with me.
Yeah.
And I was able to, and they listened to my stories about my mum. I tell stories about mum every day that keeps her alive in my eyes. But also now I'm part of a club that no one wants to be a part of, but now I get to see that this happens to, this sounds silly, but it happens to people every day. And so now, a year on, I can talk to people and say, it's going to be okay. You've got this. I didn't think I had it, and some days I still don't think I have, but I'm here today to tell you, it's all good. If I can get through this, you can get through it. And I think it's that ability now to do some good from something so bad.
You took off the mask and revealed something true about yourself to people. And in your case, it's different. And I can understand because so many people know who you are.
Right.
Not so many know you.
Yes.
And so taking off the mask when you have a public persona like you do, that comes with a little bit of trepidation and nervousness because you don't know what's going to feed back from the universe. So, but how important has that been to you and remains to you, the ability just, I could take off the mask, just be genuine, be yourself without worrying about the consequences?
I think the authenticity word is everything to me, and that's what riles me a bit about, here comes the old man speech, about so much social media. And I don't know, I've realised that authenticity, it's a superpower, right? Because I think it's just generally what I see lacking all the time. I just see a lot of false people out there.
And not the authenticity.
Right. Yeah. And so I go, there's no better way to connect with people than when people go, oh my God, me too. Yes. Oh, I get that. Thank you. Right. And you can't get that if you're being someone that you're not. So it was sometimes when I've shared stories, I've thought, oh, I don't know, should I be doing this? But I have this saying, it goes back to the children's television days again, somewhere, someone needs to hear something I have to say. And I believe that for all of us, not just for this Jason Gunn guy. It's like we can all be the best part of someone's day, right? And I might make a video or post something and you get 3 likes, whatever. But one of those people might have needed to hear that message. They really liked it.
Yeah.
And they just needed to hear that today.
See, the disappointing thing for me there, Jace, is you've got 4 kids and you only got 3 likes.
I know.
So that's
Which one is it? And let's take a look. And if I had to pick someone, well, this is not the place, but you're right. So I think that's that thing of like realising that we can all make a difference to someone, right? And that's, I think, where I'm really passionate about the authenticity thing. Make them laugh, make them cry, and just, but just be you with it all.
One of the things, well, this brings up a subject that I really enjoy discussing, which is people do a lot of things in this world for a reason.
Yeah.
To get something back. It's a little bit harder to be pro bono, gratis. I'm going to do that because it's the right thing to do at this time. I don't expect thanks for it. I don't expect platitudes. Yeah. It's just a good thing to do. Do you try to live your life like that? Because I assume you do.
I so do. It's the moments that, it's those moments that other people don't see. Those are the best moments. I don't get it. But I will share this with you. It's been quite a few years now. I did this thing. I don't know how many years it's been, but I started, when I know coffee was $3 when it started, that I would go into a cafe, and if I'm buying a coffee, I'd just buy the person next in line. I'd go, I've got this, mate. And they go, no. I go, no, shut up, I've got it. Well, of course, now it's $6.70. It's getting out of control. And there are things this family is going without. But I've continued it for the sole reason, in that moment, by shouting someone a coffee, I can't believe what that opens up. But, oh, no, mate. And next minute, a conversation starts. And I go, how are you? Oh, actually, it's been a bloody shit of a day, actually, Jason. I go, here we go. Let's just have a moment here. Or you'll go in the next day and the barista says, you know that guy you bought a coffee for? He bought someone a coffee this morning. I went, there you have it, you see? Yeah. Quite simple, eh? And, yeah, I like, my mum always would say to me, be a good citizen. And I just love that. Just be a good person. I'm just going to continue to be this army of kindness and just go, that is honestly me. People think you're putting it on, but it's like, no. I get so much out of bringing a bit of joy to someone. It brings even more joy to me. So that's the Janice Rose Gunn too.
But that's well-being, right? The energy you receive through that, and through an act that's, well, apart from the cost of the coffee,
unbelievable.
But that's one example. Yeah. To pay someone a compliment, to ask someone how their day's going. Yes. To check in on a friend. doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost. I think we're really good at asking people how they are, but we really suck at sticking around to hear the answer. And it's like, all our mates give off clues. And I just say, or if it's a stranger and asking how someone is, you literally can be the best part of someone's day. You know, I heard a stat the other day that says loneliness is the biggest killer in the world right now. And I'm like, well, surely that's got to be quite fixable, you know. And I always say to people in retail, someone comes in to buy something from your store, you know what's bigger than the transaction is the conversation along the lines of, and how are you doing today? Because there's a chance that you could be the only person in their day that actually gave a damn. And you filled their tanks. Job done. And maybe they bought that thing as well.
You've talked about, and you've said this, and I'm going to quote you here, there's no shortage of people communicating in this world, but there's a shortage of people connecting.
Connection is my favourite word, because it's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, when we connect, like, things happen, right? That's when you go, okay, we've made a difference in that moment of connection. We're memorable in that moment of connection. You make me feel heard when we connect. Sadly, there's just so much noise out there that we're just, everyone's communicating, but I think there is a real lack of connection. Yeah, that's what we need to get better at.
You teach people how to do that now.
Yeah.
You teach people how to connect, how to use their energy, how to use their positivity, how to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
The art of communication, the art of getting to the nub of the matter.
Yes.
I think a lot of Kiwis struggle with that. I think a lot of Kiwis struggle with talking about how they're feeling. A lot of people are scared of the reaction they might get. A lot of people hide their passions because they're embarrassed by them. Of course. I think we can be quite a closed-off bunch of people down here, frightened about the impression we give others. How do you break through that? How do you tell people, be yourself, be authentic?
Yeah, I know. It is a tough one. I think also it's something, sadly, I think it's something, it's a learnt behaviour. People think, oh, you're a good speaker, you must have been born that way. It's like, well, I'm sure possibly I made some noise, but I have actually tried to master the art. It's something we can all learn. I think we all go back to our school speech competition, and that's where we've all learnt, nah. Because on that day you felt judged, you felt imposter syndrome, you felt self-doubt, and you just thought, nah, it's not for me, this speaking. And some of the people I work with who run successful companies do not speak because of one bad day at the school speech competition, they will not let go. So I was going, it's time to let that go. And I have this acronym that I came up with, HEART, because obviously that's quite important to me.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. And basically the letters stand for the H is for heart. You know, we need to learn to speak from the heart. It's that great phrase, no one cares how much you know until I know how much you care. So make me feel something. Say what you mean and mean what you say. The E is for empathy, you know, understanding where others are at. You know, before I speak to you and say, do you see what I see? I need to ask myself, do I see what you see? So where are you at and what's going on? The A is for authenticity, which we've talked about, just be yourself. The R is for reassurance. I think the world needs that more than ever, right? We just need to go, it's going to be okay. It's all good. And here's how. And the T is my favourite. It's for telling stories, the Jason Gunn effect. Tell more stories, you know? And I think if you tell really good stories, you can speak from the heart with empathy, with authenticity, and be reassuring. And storytelling, it connects us, which is that word again. So if you can just lean into that formula, you know, you'll always connect.
You're so high energy.
Oh, some days.
Does it exhaust you?
The energy thing, yeah. Look, I know it's something. Over the years, I've learned to control it in terms of I can feel it where it's at. When I was young, like I'm 18 starting in television, right? It's like TVNZ just said, let's just hop on this horse and give it a whip until it falls over. And it didn't actually, but it was exhausting. So as the years went on and, you know, I found therapy, you know, you learnt to control that energy and go, there's nothing wrong with lots of energy, but just make sure it's not emptying your own tanks. So I think I've learnt to do that, yeah.
What do you do every day? Keep yourself fit, to keep yourself healthy?
I'm getting better at, I've just got into the world of sauna. And so Louis said, Dad, we've got to do it. So there's the sauna and there's the ice bath. No, it's an ice bath that you can adjust the temperature, so it's less of an ice bath and more of a spa. But I do that sauna, and I just sit there, and just for 20 minutes and then get into that cold bath. And I love to do it with him because it's just father-son time. But even when he's not there, it's just time where I do sit there and a little bit of meditation or listen to usually a Wellbeing podcast. And I just do that. I need to get better with the exercise.
I want you to keep exercising.
Thank you.
And I want you to keep getting in that sauna and that ice bath. And I want you to keep saying nice things in the mirror to yourself, because it's been emotional chatting to you, Jace.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But you're very special to us. And I think I speak for so many in this country who have grown up with you and who have responded to your messages and who want you around and who want to send you cards congratulating you on 4 weddings.
Exactly.
And however many grandchildren are to come.
Exactly.
But this has been a real treat for me, mate, and I need to go and dry my eyes a little bit.
Oh, you shush now?
But Jace, we love you and we thank you for being on the upside with us, mate.
Mate, thank you. I mean, I can... Is this my camera?
Yeah, sure.
No, can I just say, I could never say enough what I've got out of what I do. And it's like, if you have watched one of my shows, if you have followed me, if things are that desperate, and, you've put up with me, never underestimate just the joy that has brought me. It's just been such a pleasure. And like I say, I'd like to think there's life in the old dog yet. So if I get off my ass and follow through with some ideas, I look forward to looking down a camera and talking with you again one day soon.
It's been good, mate.
It's been great.
Look at me. I'm a mess.
I'm so
I'm an
sorry.
Emotional mess.
I wanted to bring laughter and it
Well, you
hasn't.
did.
No,
That's
I'm
half the
sorry.
problem. I think I'm crying, laughing and crying. This is an upside moment for me. Thanks so much, buddy.
An upside moment for me. Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you,
it's nice
mate.
chat. Thank you.
Cheers. You're good at this.
Ah,
You should keep doing this.
nah. Can't handle it. I'm getting emotional in my old age.
The Upside, brought to you by AIA Vitality. Find out more at aiavitality.co.nz.